couple other things I wanted to share with you. This actually two other things that well, actually I've got about 30 or 40 pieces of paper here. We get into a lot of stuff, but Peter Dow wrote a really interesting piece over at Blue Nation Review. I found this absolutely fascinating. And I can't dispute it, which is troubling to me. I would like to dispute it, but I think that maybe he's right. And he's talking about Donald Trump, and he says, you know, Donald Trump is not really running for president. And that's why, and in fact, Trump himself made fun of how people couldn't figure him out, right? And there's actually a logic to it. There's a very clear logic to it. So here's what Peter Dow writes. He says, examining his words and actions through the prism of a traditional presidential campaign is a futile exercise, but Trump isn't campaigning for the White House. He's campaigning for a white nationalist awakening. And if you put it in that frame, if you put it in that context, that Donald Trump wants to be the leader of a white nationalist movement in the United States. He's really not interested in being president. He wants to be the famous figurehead. He wants to be this generation's, I don't know what, Norman Rockwell? Or was it Norman Rockwell? He was the painter. Who was the head of the American Nazi Party? A very similar name. Maybe it was. In any case, he wants to be that guy. Not necessarily the Nazis, but you get what I'm talking about. And if you put it in that context, as Peter Dow writes, Trump's strategy makes perfect sense. For someone seeking to lead an uprising, perhaps even a violent one, he cites Occam's razor and says that's George Rockwell was the thank you, Shana, was the head of the American Nazi Party. But as Peter Dow points out, if you listen to Trump's words, they are clear. He's just painfully and dangerously clear. The leader of Italy's far-right Northern League Party, Matteo Salvini, hailed U.S. President hopeful Donald Trump as heroic. KKK leader Thomas Robb, at least he's saying things that many, many people in this country are identifying with and are saying, yeah, that needs to be done. You're afraid of the masses of the people, the millions of people supporting Donald Trump becoming awakened to what they feel to be a country that's being taken away from them. That's from the KKK. Richard Spencer, a leading white nationalist who coined the term alt-right, came to national attention last year when he pronounced Donald Trump the candidate for white Americans. Spencer said, he's awakened a sense of us, a sense of nationalism among white people. He's done more to awaken that nationalism than anyone in my lifetime. I love the man. So, he's not building a national campaign infrastructure. He's willfully ignorant of the issues. I'm quoting Peter Dow here again. He has an inexplicable campaign schedule. And then Peter Dow says, these betray not stupidity, but intentionality. He doesn't care. He doesn't care because he's not after the presidency. He's after something much bigger, something to match his grand ambitions. His plan is working, not to win the White House, but to fundamentally change the United States of America and the world by triggering a white national uprising and becoming an heroic figurehead in what his followers see as a defining war against inexorable demographic shifts. Peter Dow writes, he's a shrewd, politically talented, ambitious man who seeks to lead a historic uprising, a white nationalist awakening. There you go. His Alex Jones-style conspiracy mongering, his meticulously crafted words of incitement and exhortations to violence, his attacks on a federal judge, his description of President Obama as a terrorist, in fact, the founder of ISIS, his birtherism, his eliminationist language toward Hillary Clinton, his fierce misogyny and indifference to sexual harassment, his feud with the Khan family, his Muslim ban, his use of anti-Semitic symbols, his embrace of torture, his capriciousness with the proliferation and use of nuclear weapons, his praise for dictators, his flirtations with Putin and Russian hackers, his undiluted xenophobia, his racist dog whistles. Look at my African-American. His infamous border wall and relentless anti-Mexican bigotry, his claims of a rigged election, his unconcealed calls for voter intimidation, his refusal to disavow ties to white supremacists. Peter Dow says, Trump has a purpose. It's just not the one the experts think it is. And it could prove to be much more dangerous, which means we have to work even harder to defeat and delegitimize him in November. Amazing. I think Peter Dow is right. I actually think he's right.
To watch more clips from our programs, hit the Watch More Videos button over here. And please be sure to hit the handy-dandy subscribe button so you'll always be up to date. Tag, you're it.